Right, the 24-25 season has come to an end. A season that saw Enzo Maresca deliver a Champions League qualification finish and a European trophy. Lots to celebrate. And in this video, we are going to give you guys our end of season awards. We did it last season. We're doing it this season. And we are going to kick off with Best Player, Mr. Josh Aveste. Did it take you long to come to your conclusion for this category?
It didn't. And you know what? Like I tried to think of other options, and there was only one choice. So shall we just get into it? Let's not beat around the bush anymore. It's obviously Mykhailo Mudryk.
It's obviously not Mykhailo Mudryk. It's obviously Christopher
Caicedo.
Christopher Nkunku. No, I think we can both agree that the player of the season for Chelsea Football Club has been Moises Caicedo. I absolutely cannot believe that he didn't make it into the Premier League team of the season. It completely baffles me. Not only should he have been in there, he's been better than Gravenberch. He's been better than Alexis McAllister, his old teammate at Brighton.
Declan Rice.
He's been better than Declan Rice in the Premier League. He's been better than everyone in the Premier League. I don't see how on earth he's not made it in there. But just how good is the player that we've got on our hands? And just how good does it feel, Josh, to be able to talk about 100 million plus signing and no one says a fucking word?
Perennially underrated, a man that does absolutely everything on the football pitch, a man that is underrated in terms of his ability to actually score goals as well. He literally only ever scores bangers. And also, he just constantly has 8 out of 10 games. Like, his tackling is immense, his passing is immense, his dribbling is so good, he's such a strong player. And also, I think really he might be a really good number 10 as well. Like, the way he just slots away opportunities right up the near end of the pitch towards the goal is absolutely immense. This guy deserves every plaudits under the sun, and the fact that he is constantly undervalued by pundits in the Premier League is a clear level and a clear proving ground for competence to be a pundit in modern football. If you haven't put this guy in your team of the season, then you obviously don't watch football matches, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And quite frankly, a few pundits will get sacked as a result, and I hope they do.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head there. I think you've cleaned that one perfectly. Nothing really for me to add of any substance. So we now move on to Best Young Player. Now, all of our fucking players are young.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say.
When we picked this, I decided, I mean, look, to represent under 21s, you can be up to, 23 years old to represent the under 21s, right? Most of our players are below 23 years old anyway. So did you have an age profile in mind that you went for when you picked this one? Because I tried to make sure they were under 21 years old.
I was looking at the under 16s. No. Like, to be fair, you do have to look at sort of like players that are verging on the academy and just breaking into the first team. That's the way that I looked at this. Because otherwise,
I think
it's just
me and
not
you
fair.
might have a very different answer then.
Okay, go on then.
So I considered, and we will speak about the likes of Joshua Changpong, about the likes of Tyreek George, and I think they've been unbelievable. But Best Young Player for me doesn't necessarily have to be an academy player. It doesn't necessarily have to be a teenager. I looked at it and I was like, right, 21 or under. Okay. Yeah. And that does narrow things down, because when you look at the likes of Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, players like that, even Palmer himself, it does rule them out of the running. And then for me, there becomes a very clear, very, very obvious choice. And this is a player that hasn't started for us in the last 2 games of the Premier League season and obviously the Cup final with the Conference League. But I think even in comparison to a Changpong who's, took like a duck to water when he's been given the opportunity, Tyreek George, who's popped up in important moments, and definitely a player that I'm really looking forward to next season. There's a 21-year-old in there who blows them all out of the water and is going to go on to be one of the best players in European football. And it's obvious. It's Romeo Lavia.
Really? You've included him in this category?
Why would I not?
This is so interesting. I feel like Joey's cheated a little bit here, because I think, fair enough, he's a young player, but also he's missed a lot of the season. I think also he is in a different category and a different level to this award.
He's only just turned 21, and you say he's missed a lot of the season. He's made more appearances than Tyreek George. He's made more appearances than
Joshua Changpong. Can I set my stall out for my winner then, because I feel like you've cheated this. I
Go
think
on.
this is unfair. My winner was Tyreek George.
Yeah.
Now, I'll set my stall out here.
It's a bit fucking obvious, though, isn't it?
It's a bit obvious, but also best young player. I feel like you do need to award to an academy prospect, or at least someone that's banging down the door as being like a really good young player. I think Romeo Levia, huge reputation, deserves to be in the team, plays so well. But I think Tyreek George scoring that goal against Fulham probably means that we get the Champions League. Let's be honest.
So would you say that Tyreek George has contributed? You're going on an individual moment across the season. Has Tyreek George contributed more to us getting Champions League football than Romeo Lavia has? I can tell you. I know you want to back your man, right? I know you want to back the academy. I do too. Absolutely love Tyreek George. From before anyone had seen him play for Chelsea, obviously you had because you're a Chelsea fan, you watch pre-season games and stuff, yeah? But from before anyone had seen him play, I was shouting out Tyreek George. I can find videos from the start of the season where I had some howlers, but I also said about Tyreek George, I'm sure I earmarked him in my Chelsea predictions video as like academy player to watch, something like that. So I knew he was going to be really, really good. But you would be lying if you were telling me that you truly believe that Tyreek George has impacted us getting Champions League football to the extent that Romeo Lavia has, because you can't deny that when Romeo Lavia has been on the pitch for this team, I know he spent a lot of time injured, when he's been on the pitch, we've been close to unbeatable with him there.
What you've done, though, is you've just cheated the system a bit. You've chosen probably one of the oldest players that you could have possibly selected, and you've chosen basically a first-team squad player that was always going to be in the first team. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the academy or the young players. My third choice for this, which Joey hasn't even mentioned, was Mark Gue. So that tells you everything you need to know about the selection here. So look, if you want to cheat the system, Joey, and you want to include Romeo Lavia in this category, you're more than welcome to. But I personally feel that it should be deserving of another player. In the Chelsea Awards, they did this for Academy Player of the Year, I think, rather than Young Player of the Year. And that is why Tyreek won the award. And I think he deserves that credit.
Well, let's have a little look at the annual Young Player of the Year awards, because we're going to see this, because you're saying I've cheated the system. I don't think that I've cheated the system. So let's have a look at it. Let's go all the way back to 2002. So we've got Carlton Cole, academy player. Robert Hoof was an academy player, I believe. Obviously, we brought him in from somewhere else. And he... Fucking hell, Robert Hoof had the hat-trick. He won it 2003, 2004, 2005. By the way, in 2005, he was older than Romeo Lavia. Either way, you're saying I've cheated the system. Then we go, Lassana Diarra. He wasn't an academy player. Probably older than Romeo Lavia. John Obi Mikel in 2007 wasn't an academy player and was probably the same age, if not older, than Romeo Lavia. There's a host of names on here, but I will agree with you. They are mostly academy
Let's do this then. Best Young Player of the Year, the season award. We should have dressed up for this award ceremony. We'll give it to Romeo Lavia. Best Academy Player of the Year is obviously Tyreek George.
100%. Now we move on to a category which I'm really interested to discuss with you, and that is Unsung Hero, right? I've got a feeling we might have the same.
I don't think we will.
You don't think we will?
No, I've gone for a relatively high-profile player in this.
Okay. So have I.
Go on then.
Unsung Hero, I'm going Pedro Neto.
Are you? Interesting. Pedro Neto was second in my category here. So I had Dewsbury Hall in the bronze position.
Okay.
I had Neto in the silver position. And my winner is a player that's very, very high profile.
Enzo.
But it's Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a lot of credit. People didn't really rate him at the start of the season. People didn't think he'd have the same impact that he did. You know, the goal contributions this year, the goals themselves, they're so, so exciting. And again, he never really is one of those players that, you know, is an attacking player, gets all the glory, gets all the, you know, the goals and excitement. But I feel like he's proved so many people wrong. So I feel like Enzo has completely changed his reputation at the football club. He's proven himself to be elite level. And I feel like he deserves to be right up there. So I think he deserves that title. Unsung Hero.
I think that you've made a great case there, and I wouldn't disagree with it massively at all. I think Enzo Fernandez has been absolutely phenomenal. And I think that, you know, when these teams of the seasons and these pundits were giving their teams of the season, we were sort of outraged by Caicedo not being in there. And I think that it really does show that you're right in classing him as an unsung hero, because after Caicedo, we're sort of going, well, hold on, Cucurella, Cole Palmer. So there's 3 players in this team that even us as Chelsea fans, seeing the brilliance week in, week out of Enzo Fernandez this season, there's 3 players in this team that, I can only speak for myself here, but I think you'd sort of agree with me, we've sort of gone to before Enzo Fernandez. And that means he is an unsung hero, because he's not up there with Caicedo in terms of hard done by to not get in there. But when we say, Palmer, Cucurella, Enzo's not put up the numbers. He's not in the position to put up the numbers of a Cole Palmer. But he has been more consistent than Cole Palmer. Now, when Cole Palmer's good, he's better than Enzo when Enzo's good. Do you know what I mean? And they're different players, different positions. But consistently across the board, there have been matches that Cole Palmer's gone missing in this season, right? There's been matches he's been brilliant in. So I'm not criticising Cole Palmer. But Enzo is another one of them. It might be a 0.5 or even a whole point below Caicedo, but consistently, he's consistently putting in 7s. Caicedo's consistently putting in 8s. Do you know what I mean? But mate, if you can get a combination of 2 midfielders, one's putting in 8s every week, one's putting in 7s every week, that is a winning formula. So I completely go with it. But I'll give you my case for Pedro Neto.
Yep.
15 goal involvements in 32 starts, but it's the goals and the assists that he does actually get. Assist for the winner in the 87th minute against Newcastle. Obviously, the ball that went into Jackson after that wonder pass from Cole Palmer. Equaliser from outside of the box against Arsenal. That was a big, big goal for us. That was a good goal for confidence, and that was a good goal for us at that time to stay in what we kind of felt was a title race. Like, he plays a part in the big late equaliser against Fulham, doesn't get the assist. I think he gets the assist, right? Before Enzo, I think, feeds Tyrick George for the goal. But then himself rockets one into the back of the net and completely turns a game on its head. And that really was the catalyst, that moment against Fulham, that pushed us on to get Champions League football. If we hadn't turned that game round with those 2 goals that Pedro Neto was both involved in, we wouldn't have got Champions League football. Assists for Enzo for the opening goal against Liverpool. Again, the champions, a must-win game. A game in the hardest run-in that anyone had that we were not favourites to win by any stretch of the imagination. Gets the assist for Levi Colwell's winner against Nottingham Forest. Versatile, runs his fucking legs off, has come in and been a player that we didn't actually think he was going to be. Like, we thought he was going to be this big attacking threat, which I've just showed you on the goals and assists and the importance of them that he is. But I don't think we realised, or at least I didn't realise, he was going to be this much of a workhorse. He was going to take so much pressure off of Reece James's shoulders when Reece James came back, in terms of making sure he's there to support you. He's there to make sure that you're not doing everything by yourself. And we've had wingers that I won't name in the past that just have shied away massively from that responsibility. And he prioritises the team over himself. So I think that we can have a debate over it, but I think that I've made a strong case there for Pedro Neto being the unsung hero, because, again, like when we name top 5 players from this season, I think there'll be a lot of people that don't include Pedro Neto in there. And I don't think that once they're presented with the case that I've just made for him, I don't think they would stay firm on their standpoint. I think they'd go, oh, fucking hell, yeah, he should be in there.
This is the thing, like, ultimately, people haven't really rated Pedro Neto enough, I don't think, to be fair. And I do think he has been, by far, our most exciting winger. And by far, for me, the first name on the team sheet in the wing position. So I really do think that he deserves to be right up there. And I think he deserves the plaudits. But I just think Enzo is one of those players that never gets any credit. So I'm very happy for both of them to be acknowledged in this award. But I feel like Enzo's had a better season than Pedro Neto. But taking nothing away from Pedro Neto, he's had to play in every single position. I feel like he's really got a desire to play, which I think often you really miss that for Chelsea. Like, I think he's got a real ambition to be right at the top and right at the top level. And I'm really excited to see him at Chelsea. I'm glad that he's with us, and I think he will have a really good career for us, to be fair. So, yeah, huge shout out to Neto. I think we rightly say the winner of this award is Enzo Fernandez.
Okay, fair enough. But I'll just give you a spoiler now straight off the back. Enzo Fernandez actually won my next award.
Really?
Which is most improved.
Really?
Most improved from this season to last season. I don't think you can make much of a case for anyone barring Enzo Fernandez, really.
I had 3 players in this that were not Enzo Fernandez.
Go on,
in terms of
then.
my bronze, silver, gold. My bronze was Cucurella.
Yep.
Not because he was rubbish last season, just because he's kicked on and he's now the best left back in the Premier League, quite clearly.
Yeah.
My number 2 was Colwill. I think he's stepped up and I think he's improved this season. And I think he's proved a lot of people wrong.
He'd have probably been my number 2 also.
Yep. And
So who's your number 1?
my number 1, maybe this is a bit of recency bias, but the most improved player award was an award that no one ever really wanted to win when I was playing football. And I think this guy wouldn't have won any other awards. I actually gave it to Robert Sanchez.
I did kind of think that maybe you might go that way.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's... I think it's kind of undeniable to say that he's not improved, because he has improved. Yeah. He's improved massively, Robert Sanchez. And in the running, when it's mattered, he's mattered and he's done well. He hasn't made any high-profile mistakes in the running. Completely accept that. Although Enzo Fernandez, for me, last season was average. Okay? People won't like it, especially with the temperature of the room right now, where it's very hot for Enzo Fernandez. But I'm just being real to myself and saying that last season, I kind of thought he was average. Not an average footballer. Not an average footballer. Average for a player that we spent that money on. He doesn't determine the price. This season, he's been one of our best players. 22 goal involvements in 38 starts, as I said, as opposed to 9 in 36 the season before, which shows that he has massively levelled up. And I think that we credit Enzo Maresca with being able to finally make the pivot of Enzo and Caicedo work, but we've got to credit the cogs in the unit, which is Caicedo and Enzo. We knew what we were getting out of Caicedo. We knew he was going to be of that level. Enzo Fernandez this season has been so good for me. So good. And at the start of the season, before a ball was kicked, and obviously the backlash of the footage that come out, the chants of Argentina and everything else there, I had a bad feeling about Enzo Fernandez this season. I had a bad feeling about him. I had a feeling that maybe things could unravel a little bit. Maybe he could be dispossessed from his starting lineup, placed by Romeo Lavia. Obviously, injuries played a part in that and whatnot. But regardless of whether Romeo Lavia was there or not, and regardless of how impressed I've been by Romeo Lavia, Enzo Fernandez has been phenomenal this season.
He scored good goals last season, though, didn't he? You know, he had big moments last season.
He
that
did,
Palace
but
goal.
consistency is key, mate.
Yeah,
consistency is
the
key.
thing.
He might have scored a screamer against Aston Villa and good goals in there, but this season he's kicked on massively.
I'm happy to give that award to him.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair shout. To be fair, Enzo with 2 awards. Who would have thought?
Shall we go with best moment of the season?
Yeah, go on.
So the best moment of the season for me wasn't beating Real Betis in the final. It wasn't beating Nottingham Forest. I think there's other games that you would go with and you'd go, oh yeah, you know, like doing the double over Spurs is always good, but it's kind of to be expected. I think that somewhere in your bronze, silver, gold, you're going to have that Fulham match. I know you will. But for me, it's the 3-1 over Liverpool. It's been a long time. It really has been a long time since we have got it in over one of the big boys. And it felt so good to do that. It was part of an epic run-in. People will never give us the credit. Oh, you spent $1 billion. Oh, yeah. Like, it's not all gone and it's not just there in assets anyway. And we're not able to make that back. It's more of an investment rather than anything. But people will always give us that. But the run-in we had, right? Remember when, like, West Brom survived relegation? Yeah. That was almost as when these teams have these epic survivals of relegation in the running and they go on and win loads of games in their running. That's kind of what we did, but the other end of the table. We were up against it. We had the toughest running. No one expected it. And yeah, the catalyst was that Fulham game, as I said. But Liverpool, that win against Liverpool is one that I'll remember for a long time. Brilliant Enzo Fernandez goal in that one and all.
So funny because that hasn't made my top 3.
Wow.
That hasn't made anywhere near that. The reason why is that, yes, it was a brilliant victory. Yes, we finally put that curse that we couldn't beat any of the top teams to bed. The circumstances around it for me were the big mitigating factor of that. It was a great result, something that I loved. Best moment of the season, it wouldn't be in there for me. It would be up there. It wouldn't be in my top 3.
But just quickly, I want you to be honest with me. You've left it last minute, haven't you, to get your Father's Day present? And just so you remember, Father's Day's on the 15th of June, so it's literally right around the corner. But I'm going to make your life easier. Instead of shopping and thinking of different gifts you can get, just go to Manscaped. Because there you can pick up the Beard and Balls bundle, which includes the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger that I can vouch your old man will absolutely love. And he'll be joining 12 million other men worldwide who trust Manscaped. And remember, you will get 15% off your order when you use my code JoeyKnight at manscaped.com. So within the Beard and Balls bundle, you have got the Beard Hedger for specific beard trimming and the Lawnmower 5.0 for everything below the belt. The Beard Hedger itself has actually got 20 adjustable settings, meaning your old man will always be looking on point. And the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra includes interchangeable foil and trimmer blades. Basically, that ensures a smooth and comfortable experience even in those sensitive areas. And both of these include skin-safe technology, meaning that you can reduce nicks and irritation, and you can groom with confidence where it matters the most. And they've both got great runtime with up to 60 minutes on the Beard Hedger and up to 75 minutes on the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. And both of these devices are waterproof, meaning you can use them in the shower and you can clean them afterwards. So hit the link in the description below so that you can give your dad the best gift he could possibly have from Manscaped this Father's Day. And remember, Joey Knight, all one word, all caps, for 15% off your order. Thanks again to Manscaped. Let's get back into the video.
So shall I give you my top 3?
Yep.
My bronze award goes to getting rid and selling, well, not selling, but getting rid of Raheem Sterling.
Thought that might be on there.
Which was a momentous moment, and we are a much better team for getting rid of him. My silver moment was, and I'm surprised you didn't have this in your one, Trevor Chalobah returning.
Yeah.
Huge moment for the football club. And he's completely vindicated that decision. He's proven so many people wrong again and absolutely has shown that he deserves a starting berth in the Chelsea
100%.
team. But my ultimate moment, maybe not necessarily for the game, maybe not necessarily because of what it meant for Chelsea, was because we got to enjoy it together in this studio, the Forest victory. That goal that Levi Colwill scored, we did a clip of it and it's up on Instagram right now. It's gone absolutely crazy.
500,000 views across all platforms.
It's done very well. And that's because it was a true feeling of relief, of joy, of knowing that our football club were going to be able to progress and grow. And it meant a huge amount. That Levi Colwill goal will go down in the pantheon of Chelsea moments in the Jasper Gronkiar way. It will go down as a huge turning point for the football club and a way that we will now go and progress and sign huge players and go and compete in the Champions League, which is so important for the club's finances, but more often and more importantly than not, for the way that the fans feel about our club now. You know, it means a lot. So for me, that Forest win has got to be number one.
Nice. It's a good choice. It's a very, very good choice. Should we go with worst moment?
Got him.
Mine's easy. Mine's really, really easy. The one that hurt me the most was the 3-0 loss to Brighton because we had gone there a couple of days before. I watched the cup game with Brian. It was shambles, to be honest. But yeah, we'd gone there a couple of days before, lost in the cup, and I thought, if I know Chelsea, then when you get dumped out of the cup in, I think it was the third round, wasn't it? Maybe a DFA Cup.
It was very early, very early.
But when you get dumped out of the cup, yeah, and then you go back to that ground in the league, you fucking turn up and you win, yeah? We did a similar thing, right? And this was another low moment, but we did a similar thing where we beat Newcastle at Stamford Bridge, I believe in the cup. Was it in the cup? I believe it was in the cup. And then we went on to face them at St James's Park, and they showed that sort of character, that bite back, and they beat us, and they beat us comfortably at St James's Park. I thought we would have the character to go and do that against Brighton. So to lose, I think it was 5-0 on aggregate, or maybe 5-1 on aggregate. To lose like that, yeah. I mean, there was 2 losses at the Amex in the space of a week. That was a low moment for me. What about yourself?
That was I had exactly the same thing. It was the double loss to Brighton that was the killer for me. But I also had the Ipswich 2-0. The Jorgensen joke of a pen that was given, I found that to be a joke. And also, that was almost like the start of the complete capitulation that we had in the league for a very long time. And I feel that was a really low moment. So I would include that, but let's be honest, mate, it is the double loss to Brighton. Bearing in mind, we've called them in the past our feeder club. For them to just completely pull our pants down in the way they did. made us look a little bit stupid.
Well, let's get on to something we're a little bit happier about then, and let's go with goal of the season. Because there's been some good ones. There's been some real good ones. Like, there's ones that will never make it in there that I love. Like, say, for example, the... who was the Enzo Fernandez goal against when he takes a touch and then takes it on the half volley? Was it against Newcastle?
Can't remember that goal.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
His goal against Spurs. That was
Yeah.
that was another really good one. Obviously, I think a lot of people will go for either the Palmer free kick or Caicedo against United, maybe.
Yep.
I think the Palmer free kick against Brighton is one that people would definitely go for. They'd definitely go for that.
Yep.
Nicholas Jackson's goal, his last goal that he scored for us the other day, which was against, who was that against? Can't remember now, it was in the running. But that was a great goal. But for me, I would go Nicholas Jackson against Newcastle. And really,
It's not Nicholas Jackson's goal.
It's not Nicholas Jackson's goal who scored it, and it's not Pedro Neto's goal, the man that assisted it.
Yeah.
How mad is that? That my goal of the
Literally.
season comes purely from the
a
assist.
pass.
But it's true.
And
it's a pass that's better than many goals that have been scored, not just by Chelsea, but by anyone this season in the Premier League. That Cole Palmer pass, right? I'm not saying it's like, oh, I do and whatever. I'm always the first to say, mate, I'm average, yeah? But that's a pass that you have got to really understand football to understand how fucking hard that pass is to make. Not just to make, to see. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head to see that vision that there's a Pedro Neto run on when Cole Palmer had his back to goal, didn't he? When he actually spotted that pass out. So, yeah, eyes in the back of his head for that one.
It's also against Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's not against, a league minnow. That's against a really, really good team, very well drilled, a team that's got a very good defence as well, a team that sort of made us look stupid at the end of the season. So that is an exemplary goal. I mean, there's a reason, mate, that it's been put in the Premier League goal of the season nominations. It is that good. The only other one, I agree with you, that I think the Cole Palmer free kick against Brighton was unreal. I thought that was a really good free kick. My only other mention is Mykhailo Mudryk versus Heidenheim.
It was a great goal.
That must have been a drug-infused goal, to be honest with
was, yeah. Yeah.
That's where we're seeing the performance enhancers in
yeah.
full force.
Yeah, they worked well against Heidenheim. Let's go on to biggest idiot. Now,
It's
people
easy.
to be shouting at the TV or whatever they're watching this on, tablet, iPhone, and they'll be shouting for.
It's Nicholas Jackson versus Newcastle is the easiest one.
You're actually incorrect.
Come on.
You're actually incorrect.
Nicholas Jackson versus Newcastle is the biggest Dumbo moment I have seen in a long time.
So, I'd completely agree with you. Circumstance has saved Nicholas Jackson, in my opinion. It saved him.
Okay.
Because the consequence of his actions meant that there was a chance we could miss out on Champions League football. And if we missed out on Champions League football, he would win this by a country mile.
Huge infamy
But
moment.
I can give you a moment where the consequences of those involved actions means that we did miss out on something.
Go on then.
I'm saying biggest idiot has got to go down to Winstanley and Stewart or the board of directors in late December, early January. Because I do honestly believe that at that point, I said it, and people want to constantly remind me that I said it. The funny thing is, the people that do want to constantly remind me that I said it, want to say that I said I was... It's mad. One thing I've learned of doing YouTube is people do not give a fuck if the facts are out there and if the receipts are out there. They'll still say you said this, yeah? I'm too busy. I ain't got time to go and find the video. But I know I didn't say it. I never said Chelsea were going to win the league. I said that Chelsea were in a title race. I think in late December, we were in a title race. It was really when we dropped those points against Everton, yeah? But we could have gone top in December, right? At that point, you know that Nicholas Jackson is injured. You know that at that point, right? Everyone goes, oh, you can't factor for Mark Yu, you can't factor for Mark Yu with an injury. Well, hold on. But what you're then saying is your eggs are in the Mark Yu basket.
A 19-year-old guy that's barely played any senior football.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, in my opinion, the mistake right there and then was not going out and, I don't even want to say spending big, but enhancing us in January. Instead, we let João Felix go, we let a few other players go, we let Renato Vega go, we let multiple players go, right? And we brought in who? Matisse Amargu. Never fucking played. never even played. Yeah. So for me, not going and addressing more goals in the team, someone that can come in and bring you goals in that January window, is the difference between us needing to go to the final day of the season to qualify for Champions League football. I believe that they had have done that successfully at that time in terms of addressing that position and other positions. To be fair, I feel we should have spent a little bit in January. If they had have done that in that time, I think we'd have maybe continued to be in a title race. We wouldn't have won it, but I think we'd have continued to be up there. We might have finished above Arsenal, something like that. And the other thing as well, I would say, is at that moment in time, when we were without Romeo Lavia, and at that moment in time when Robert Sanchez was making howlers week in, week out, the board could have opted to bring back Andre Santos and Petrovic, which once again, I'm not saying would have won us the title or put us in the title race, but it wouldn't have gone to the last day of the season had we have had those two boys. So they're my shout for it. But I think that most people would go with your more orthodox suggestion and go with
fair point.
Nicholas
I didn't even
Jackson.
think about that, to be fair, of looking at it like that way. But yeah, do you know what the only mitigating factor on that side that I don't think it's fair is that who are they going to sign that actually made a difference?
I was sort of thinking that when I was saying it,
Yeah.
but you know.
So I think there is. While that makes sense, I feel like you've got to give them a little bit of credit to say if there was someone on the market that was ready to go, they could have done it. January's a fucking tough month to be able to get anyone in. And quite frankly, I'd rather have this summer now where we get the targets. We actually want a number 9 rather than that. But getting rid of João Felix, Vega, not bringing back Santos, not bringing back Petrovic, fair point. But again, they had really good ends to the season, Santos and Petrovic. And they're going to be much better players for Chelsea now.
Well, it brings me perfectly onto my next category. Player that we missed the most.
It's so easy, Joey.
Who?
It's Petrovic.
It's Petrovic.
It's so easy. Do you know what we were debating what to call this category, and I think players that we let go that we missed the most is probably a good way of describing this, as opposed to, you know, players that we missed the most. The other option that I had here was Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Really?
Can you think of a left winger that we could have used better than Callum Hudson-Odoi? That we could have had, that we had on our books?
No.
I don't think so. The only other option I had is also Carney. I would have liked to have seen Carney come in and play. I feel like there's moments in the season where we could have done with an auxiliary number 10 option to have Cole Palmer push out to the right, have another player in there. And I've always rated Carney.
I mean, I'll give you another one.
Go on.
It won't ever, win the category or probably rank too high up. But we've spoke about having cover for Kukureya. Ultimately, we didn't need it.
No.
He hasn't pushed on in the way that I thought he would when going to Aston Villa, but Ian Maatson.
And also, Chilwell hasn't pushed on in the way that I thought he was going to at Crystal Palace. Barely played.
I didn't think he was going to push on.
I thought he was going to play.
Got in the kit and lifted the trophy. Though,
He
didn't
did.
So,
Respect to that.
There you go.
Yeah,
And
no,
when
Ian Matson's a really good player, but also hasn't torn it up in Villa really either.
When we
Surprised.
speak about Crystal Palace, there, another honourable mention would be Trevor Chalobah for the first 20-odd games.
Yeah.
That's someone we missed.
Yeah, we could have done with him. I mean, arguably would have been even better. You know, you were talking there about being second in December. We might have been even higher.
Now, if we include bringing back loan signings, maybe he could be a candidate in this category. Best signing this season. I'll just start you off. It's very uncharacteristic for modern day football for this to be the case, but the best signing is the man we spent the most money on.
Yeah.
Pedro Neto.
This is why I didn't necessarily give him an award earlier on, because I knew this was coming. He is absolutely the best signing. What I saw, it was 15 goal contributions in the Premier League. But you said it was even more than that, wasn't it? In all competitions?
Yeah, I think
You had a huge amount. So I think he's been really good. When was the last time we had a really good players on big money come in and actually be really, really good and hit the ground running? It's been a while.
Well, Caicedo,
Yeah.
but
Did he hit the ground running?
not in his first match. But
No.
I mean,
Near enough after.
Near enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Caicedo, I think we've done well with quite a few of them.
I was looking at the rest of the options for this category. They're all shit.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Anselmino isn't going to win this award, is he?
No.
Jorgensen isn't going to win this award, is he?
No.
Mark Hugh isn't going to win the award.
Yeah, it's hard to argue.
We had a
anyone,
bad
but
summer. We actually had not the best summer last season.
I think you'd class it as a bad summer if we didn't have the strength in depth that we had.
True.
But
True.
yeah, I know what you mean. Right, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this one. This is what I'm most interested to hear who you've put. I think it's obviously like really, really easy to just put Liverpool or I don't know. They weren't great.
I
They
haven't
did
done
double
that.
over
I
us,
haven't
Man
done that
City.
with this one.
I've gone pound for pound
Me
with
too.
this. Oh, great. Right. I'm
Yeah.
really glad you have.
Yeah.
Best team we've played against. I've got one, and I've got an honourable mention.
I've got 3,
Okay.
but I've got one that I would give it to.
Okay. Before I give you my honourable mention,
Yep.
I'll give you my one.
Okay.
Best team we've played against, right? We've done this twice this season. I've kind of bent the rules a little bit because one was in the cup, right? So I'm quite specific with who it is and where it is. But for me, it's Newcastle at St James's Park.
Brilliant.
At St James's Park,
Good choice.
Newcastle. Yeah, I don't know. I hope not. But like, we ain't gone there and won in a few years now. What, 3 seasons? Is it? It's definitely 2. It might be 3. As much as I think Chelsea are on the up, and I'm saying all this positive stuff about us, which I truly do think, I also think Newcastle are on the up, and I think that we could go there and win next season. We could also go another 3 seasons without winning there. I think that the Geordies are a 12th man from there, and they're just a little bit of our kryptonite at St James's Park. I back us against them at Stamford Bridge, but at St James's Park, I'm never confident against Newcastle. I have got an honourable mention.
Give it to me. Go on.
I'm interested to see if it's in yours.
Okay. Why didn't I do my 3 then? Do you want me to do my 3?
I've got a little feeling that you're... Can I ask you a question then
Go
about
on
your
then.
3?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. Did we win one and lose one against anyone in your 3?
Yes.
Right, okay. Can I just drop it then?
Go on then.
So, mate, Fulham.
Fulham are not in my 3.
Are they not in your 3?
No.
Mate, I thought that both in the loss and the win against Fulham, and I understand that they were both smash and grabs, but the reverse outcome. In the win and the loss against Fulham, I thought Fulham were really good.
Yep.
I thought they were really, really good.
I agree. Even as you say, even the win was a scraped win.
And that's why, even though I bent the rules for my one a little bit,
Yeah.
I do look at I need 2 matches. So I can't just go, oh, so-and-so were great in this game against us. No, we're saying team. We're not saying toughest fixture we had. We're saying best team we played against. So I know I bent the rules and used the cup game because we did beat him in the league. But I'm going across 2 fixtures, and the ones that jumped out at me was I thought that both times we played Fulham, I thought they played really well.
So what I did is I looked at all of the fixtures and I tried to see what the most disappointing results were. So again, bronze, silver, gold, really on this. The bronze is the bronze because it's an easy option, but I feel like we do need to give these guys credit. They beat us twice, Man City. Again, this isn't my pound for pound choices, but when we played them, we were a step off it, really. And Pep Guardiola schooled his former protege and made us look a bit stupid in a season in which they haven't been really good. They were very good against us, right? So that was my first one. My second one is Ipswich, because they absolutely scored us, made us look stupid, pulled our pants down, and again, really, we capitulated in those games against them. We were so bad. You know, we drew in one, didn't we? Lost in another against a relegation fodder.
I'm really interested to hear who your third is, because so far I put both of those, including the Man City one, down to us not being good. Yeah.
So this is an interesting one then, because we've already talked about this team in some of our other mentions earlier on, but it's Brighton. Brighton made us look. Fair enough, right? We beat Brighton earlier on in the season 4-2 at home. So we made them look stupid then. But 3-0 loss and also the cup game, they tore us apart. They ripped our system up completely and made us look absolutely rubbish. And again, it's all about context here. Pound for pound team, they're not on huge wages. They honestly, again, meant to be our feeder club. We've got all of the best staff apparently from them. We've taken every best part of Brighton that we possibly can. And to still beat us twice in the season, even with that win, makes us look a bit stupid.
I'm going to make you right. They weren't even on my list. They weren't even in my chain of thoughts. But yeah, I think you're right on that. I give you the other thing that's annoying about it. We spoke about our goal of the season earlier. The goal of the season,
was the
in my
Matoma
opinion,
goal.
was Matoma.
Yep.
Who was he up against? Levi Colwell?
I can't remember. I remember it was a long ball, wasn't it? It was a long ball from the goalkeeper.
Mate,
I think it was on the right-hand side.
He could have been up against JT, Carlos Puyol. He could have been up against anyone. That first touch would have took it away from most defenders. It was a great goal, to be fair. Look forward to him playing for us next season. Right. Last one we're going to do. Biggest flop. Not that one.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Growing not a shower. No, biggest flop. Right. In terms of signings,
Signings from this season.
Yeah. In terms of signings, Kiernan Dewsbury, we're not ultimately, determining it on signings, but in terms of signings this season, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall would have hoped to have got more first team minutes than he got.
Don't you dare.
No,
put him
no,
anywhere
come on,
near
mate.
flop. Are you joking? I've got three
Hold on,
way
this is a
better
short
options
list.
than this.
This is a short list.
Okay,
This
right.
is a short list.
All right.
What I'm saying is Kiernan Dewsbury Hall would have hoped to have got more minutes than he got. And ultimately, you get minutes by...
He hasn't flopped. He honestly, there's nothing about the way that Kiernan Dewsbury Hall plays that he's flopped. Whenever he's played, he's actually looked really good. He's looked decent.
Okay. Firstly, you're wrong. He hasn't looked really good whenever he's played. He's looked.
Assist in the cup final, Joe.
He hasn't looked. Looked really good whenever he's played. Yeah, he's looked decent.
Yep.
He's looked decent.
Yep.
When he's played, there's maybe one game, a cup fixture, where you can go. He's looked really good.
Yep.
Yeah. There's not one Premier League game, not one you can name me, and you can go. Dewsbury Hall looks really good in that game. You can say he looked decent. You can say oh, the 5-1 at Southampton, he looked decent. Yep, fine, not arguing it. There's not one you can say looked really good, right? And when you come in for 40 odd million, and when you've just been your team's player of the season, albeit in the division below, and you're coming in with the manager, that was the key thing, the manager that you've just been player of the season under, you will be disappointed that same manager has seen you, knows you, has spent the last year with you, and never put you anywhere near the team.
Can
I
just say, this signing is one of those ones for Chelsea where we brought him in without the need for the player, and I actually think without the desire to actually play him.
100%.
I think this is one of those ones that will just be pure profit. Like they'll try and get a bit more money for him. I think it actually was 30 million quid as opposed to 40. By the way,
35
32 or yeah. So it wasn't 40.
Okay.
So fair enough, he hasn't played as much as he is, but ultimately we probably will sell him and we'll make more money than we paid for him. So I don't think he's a flop.
Well,
Mate, there's so
I'm
many
sticking
more
to my
options
guns.
to that.
You're sticking to yours.
There's so many better options than that.
But again, I think that it comes down to how we've actually the thought process that's gone behind it.
Yeah.
So like when you go flop, you could say loads of people. You could even go, oh, Matisse Amargu, we bought him in.
Yeah.
Said he was going to be used. He never got a fucking minute.
Yeah.
Basically, a couple of minutes. But my sort of thing on it is more so like what I expected, whether it was pre-signing them, when the news broke of us signing them, or once we had signed them, what I expected. This is where my next one
even
comes
based on that
into
category,
it.
I've got more.
So my next one, right, and this isn't the man I've given biggest flop to. My next one's Renato Vega.
Yeah.
Because I felt like he was going to be an important player for us. That doesn't mean I thought he was going to be starting week in, week out. I thought he was going to be an important player for us. I thought that he could deputise at left back for Cucurella.
Agreed.
And
DM.
he was gone halfway through the season.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand it. I didn't think that his performances warranted that. I saw him have one bad game, but the fact that he went and the fact that, let's be honest, I know you're always going to say, oh, well, look, like the guy's been here 6 months, he's not getting minutes, whatever. But when someone's happy to leave, right?
After saying he wants to say so much.
Yeah, kissing the badge.
Yeah. He did
Or
all of
into
that.
the crowd, you know what I mean? There's always circumstances under it, but that kind of, for me, goes, yeah, I could put him in there too. But ultimately, for me, it has to be one man and one man only, a man that I cannot wait to see the back of, and I don't know how it's gone like this. I don't know how my feeling towards him has turned a bit toxic, but it just has. And it's Christopher Nkunku.
Wow. But he wasn't signed this season. So how are you cheating it?
I didn't do it on signings of the season. I said biggest flop
Biggest
of the
flop
season.
biggest flop of the season. Wow, okay.
Flop of the season.
Fair enough. I mean, he's been absolutely awful. He never wanted to be at Chelsea for about 8-9 months. He hasn't wanted to actually be at Chelsea, basically since pre-season ended. We knew he wasn't an out-and-out number 9. He hasn't turned it on. He had a huge reputation, huge wages in comparison to other people, and he just hasn't been good enough. So I respect that. I've answered the question in a different way.
Go on.
I think João Felix is the one. I think João Felix is the one that has been a complete flop. I mean, to be brought in for 52 million euros for Conor Gallagher to go the other way. I mean, fuck me, what a come down from Conor Gallagher, a player that we absolutely loved. I know how much you loved him.
Yeah.
I think that is one that we should never have re-signed. He's got immense quality, but obviously a bit of an attitude problem. Got a bad agent as well that just wants to make money out of him, and he's been poorly advised wherever he's gone. The fact that we've paid that amount of money for him, 52 million euros, one of the biggest signings of the entire summer. He plays for 6 months, well, not even 3 months, and then ends up going on loan. Doesn't really do anything at AC Milan. Then we've got a big hole and a big problem to deal with in the summer. I think there's no other option than João Felix for the only one. The only other mention that I had, which I absolutely do think is right up there, is Kellyman.
Yeah.
We brought in Kellyman to
but
be.
he's been injured.
Yeah, but I don't give a fuck. He's never going to play for Chelsea. We bought him for 22 million euros.
When he had a transfer value of
About 1
million.
Yeah, this one. Fair enough. It's for PSR, and we've given Aston Villa a benefit to doing this, and hopefully they sign Disasi with that money and give it right back to us. But fuck me if they don't. We've had our pants pulled down with him. He's an awful one. But yeah, for me, I understand Christopher Nkunku. He wasn't brought in this season, so I think that's a bit cheating. João Felix is the one that you have to.
No. The comments will say Nkunku.
Fair enough.
I can guarantee you that. We'll let you know in the comments. What I'm going to do is I am going to post in the description to this video just to remind you, because then saves you, thinking back. I'm going to post every category in the description to this video. I want you lot. And remember, I always read the comments, yeah? Whether I've got time to get back to people or not, I always read them. And I know the long-standing, hardcore members that are commenting on all of our videos. I can literally reel about 20 names off right now, as could Josh. So I want all of you guys to give your individual answers for each of them. I obviously want you to smash a like on the video. I really appreciate that. And when you're in the description and you're going to give the answers for the categories, just below it is going to be the link to Joey and Josh. We have got episodes coming out about once every 7 days at the moment. They're really good. So make sure you head over there, and we will see you all in the next one.